Hello everybody, Moarhammer here, and I've got another battle report for you, and this is a bit of a different one. It's a 40k battle report, so I got a first one in quite a long time, and my first with the 8th edition rules. A bit of a disclaimer, if you're kind of up for a normal kind of game, this isn't it. Long story short, a bit of a silly list was pandered about, and I happened to have all the toys for it, so I decided to throw a game against my friend, who may or may not be my friend anymore. You'll see it when I point out the army. So this is my army, and as you can see, it's a bit grim. We have Magnus the Red, 2 Lords of Skulls, 3 units of Brimstone Horrors, and the Changeling. So that's organised into a patrol with 3 troops and 1 HQ, and then a super heavy triple detachment, so the 3 super heavies in one, giving me a total of 4 command points, which is pretty cool. There were 5 blue horrors that I could summon if I wanted, so that was also the opportunity. It was also there as an opportunity, which is pretty cool. Right, so here is a picture of deployment, and as you can see, we've got me against him. So on the far left, or the middle left, I guess, I've got the Changeling, 1 unit of horrors. Magnus, Lord of Skulls, another unit of horrors, another Lord of Skulls, another unit of horrors. On his side, on the kind of far top left there, he's got a Death Strike, then he's got a unit of Guardsmen with a platoon commander in front of that bit of terrain. Then he's got a Chimera with a unit of veterans in it. Then he's got a Armoured Sentinel with a plasma cannon, a company commander. Then he's got a Leman Russ Vanquisher with a unit of Guardsmen in front of it to kind of wall it off. He's also got a Master of Ordnance in there somewhere. Then he's got a Leman Russ Executioner, and that was a tank commander. And in front of them is another big unit of, or not big unit, another unit of 10 guardsmen. And I think there's a Lord Commissar and another company commander mixed in there as well. Then he's got, to the right of that, another Leman Russ Vanquisher and another unit of 10 guardsmen. And then on the far right, he's got a Chimera with another 10 guardsmen in it. All the guardsmen had grenade launchers and missile launchers. And then in reserve, he also had a Valkyrie packed with veterans, and also maybe a Lord Commissar in there as well, I think. So, the idea was that he just wanted stuff that could deal with armor okay, but also protect his Leman Russes from the angry onslaught of Lords of Skulls. But I did get to go first, so I basically just push everything forward largely as fast as they go. So Magnus and the Lords of Skulls go far. All the horrors advance, because if I want to cast Smite, I can still advance and do that. And in the Psychic phase, Magnus casts Warp Time and Prescience on the middle Lord of Skulls and pushes him forward. So now he's hitting on 2s in combat and shooting, which is amazing. Also, he casts Smite at one of the Chimeras, the one on the left, and I managed to plink 6 wounds off it, which is not bad at all. A roll of 6, can't argue with that. Let's go to the shooting phase, and it's pretty brutal actually, as you might expect. The middle Lord of Skulls shoots off the 10 guardsmen that were protecting the Leman Russ in the middle, and the Lord of Skulls on the right-hand side shoots off the Leman Russ Vanquisher that was there. So just with his Hades Gatling cannon, just destroys it outright, which is outstanding and pretty brutal if I do say so. Because that was all the shooting that I had pretty much. I go to the charge phase. The Lord of Skulls in the middle charges the Leman Russ and has no problem at all destroying it outright. So that was fantastic. When the Leman Russ died, it did actually explode and take a wound off my Lord of Skulls, leaving me on the paltry 27 wounds remaining. What? So, we go into his turn. And he does some stuff. He brings on his Valkyrie, that just flew over to face one of the Lords of Skulls, and drops off all the veterans just outside of 9 of the Lord of Skulls in his backfield. And basically, everything kind of starts aiming towards that Lord of Skulls. In terms of movement, there's not a whole lot happens. Things move a little bit backwards if they can. The Chimera on the right-hand side moves around the flank to start maybe shooting at some horrors, but it has got 2 heavy flamers, so it wasn't quite in range of stuff. In his shooting phase, at the end of it, after the plasma guns from the veterans, missile launchers from all the units, plasma cannon from the Sentinel, heavy bolters that were wherever they could fire from, las guns, a plasma pistol, and the Leman Russ Executioner, he managed to strip a total of 15 wounds off me. Yeah, 15 wounds. I got 12 left on my Lord of Skulls, which is absurd. The execution did actually manage to do 12 wounds to itself with overheating plasma cannons, so that was pretty nice. And even through all that firepower, only and doesn't manage to kill the Lord of Skulls that was in his backfield. So that was fantastic. Although, okay, fantastic for me, well, not so good for him. So we go into my turn, and I do some more stuff. I basically move my Lords of Skulls and Magnus forward. I tried to get Magnus within, so he was closest to the Armoured Sentinel, so I could smite that if I wanted to. But that was all my movements, because there's not a whole lot to do. In the Psychic phase, Magnus casts Warp Time on himself and zips over to the Valkyrie. That was just after casting Smite and destroying the Armoured Sentinel, which is one plasma cannon down, which is good. The idea here was that he could fly, so he could attack the Valkyrie in close combat. So I was hoping he might be able to destroy that himself. I also cast Prescience on the Lord of Skulls on the right hand side. I moved over there with Warp Time, then I was in range to do that. Through all the shooting, I destroyed the unit of Guardsmen in the middle and the Lemurus Executioner, which wasn't too difficult to do. And I also destroyed the Chimera on the right hand side that had a unit of Guardsmen in. So that's quite swiftly just taking apart stuff. I also do shoot a couple of the veterans and manage to kill them. In the charge phase, my Magnus charges into the Valkyrie. The Lord of Skulls on the left-hand side charges into the veterans, and the Lord of Skulls on the right-hand side charges into the unit of Guardsmen that were there. And that one managed to destroy everything fairly easily because they were only Guardsmen. And, oh man, it was just carnage. I actually do charge a unit of Brimstone Horrors in here as well. That was actually just to get them out of the way so Magnus could fit into that space to charge the Valkyrie. But he brings down the Valkyrie no problem. He's got like 7 strength, 16 attacks. It wasn't too difficult. Hitting on 2s, so yeah, it's pretty nice. And the Lord of Skulls managed to finish off all the veterans pretty handily. So, we go into his turn. And, again, if you made it this far, well done to you, because you could probably see how this is going to go from when I showed you my army picture. But he's got very little left. He's got a couple of characters midfield. They kind of come forward to aim their guns. They've got a couple of plasma weapons. His Death Strike and his other stuff on the top left-hand side, he unloads the unit of Guardsmen in the Chimera. They all kind of try and take aim at the Lord of Skulls in the middle. And as many of them can put firepower into them. And they bring it down. In a shocking revelation, they actually destroy the Lord of Skulls, which was actually really, really good on them. He was rolling out the box. His missile launchers were getting sort of hits, wounds, and then 6 damage. So, yeah, can't complain about that too much, considering how everything else has gone. So, that being said, we go into my turn, and I do some stuff. Magnus moves over to the left-hand side. Lord of Skulls moves over to the centre to try and deal with those characters that are in the middle. And I kind of just keep my Brimstones fairly central, just ready to do some stuff. In the Psychic phase, I smite the Chimera, destroy it no problem. And then I Warp Time over the top of that unit so I can get at that Death Strike, which I needed to try and sort out. My Lord of Skulls shoots at the Guardsmen on the far right-hand side and destroys all of them without much problem. And then we go to the combat phase. Lord of Skulls charges in here and kills 3 of the 4 heroes, which is pretty good going. And Magnus does manage to destroy the Death Strike. I think it explodes and he actually takes a wound from the explosion, so that was sad. But you know what? I can live with that. I'm a terrible person. But we do call the game there. In terms of their next turn, all you can do is 2 Guardsmen units could shoot at Magnus, maybe do a couple of wounds, and then they just get taken off. So we call the game there, and it was a very interesting insight into how that silly army works, which was very entertaining. I think we were both having a good laugh about it because the army is really silly. and it's not what you should be doing. So, but but we were both having a giggle about how much carnage it could do. So it was a lot of fun still. But yeah, I'm hoping to bring you a couple of actual 40k battle reports at some point. It probably won't interrupt with my Age of Sigmar schedule too much because I still do think that's probably my primary game, for more reasons than just this channel. But we'll get there when we get there, and let me know actually if you fancy seeing some more, and if you fancy more of a mix of Age of Sigmar and 40k, because if you do, I'll get more up and I'll get playing some more 40k. But until then, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for another battle report.